News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Karen Moscow.
Karen, we begin with earnings from one of the Magnificent Seven. Nvidia, the world's most valuable company, gave a less than magnificent revenue forecast for many investors for the current period, signaling growth is decelerating after a staggering 2-year boom in artificial intelligence spending. The chipmaker says it expects sales to be roughly $54 billion in the fiscal third quarter. That was in line with the average Wall Street estimate, but some analysts projected more than $60 billion. Matt Bryson is Managing Director of Equity Research at Wedbush Securities.
Something to think about here is that Nvidia almost always leaves, or over the last few years, they've left something on the table, and that something has consistently been, $2-3 billion. So when the guide to $54 billion, what it seems like they've been telling the street is more like they can do $56-57 billion. I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed if at the end of Q3 they're coming in at those type of numbers.
Wedbush Securities' Matt Bryson has a $210 price target on Nvidia. This morning, the stock is trading close to $178.
Well, Nathan, Nvidia says the Trump administration's plan to charge a 15% commission on its AI chip sales to China has not progressed beyond the early stages and could pose legal risks. The company says it excluded as much as $5 billion in possible China sales from its projection because it can't be sure whether geopolitical tensions will allow it to fill orders. Meanwhile, Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang says they are still pushing to bring their most advanced AI chips to the Chinese market.
So I think the opportunity for us to bring Blackwell to the China market is a real possibility, and so we just have to keep advocating the sensibility of and the importance of American tech companies to be able to lead and win the AI race.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang ended his conference call by saying, quote, opportunity ahead is immense and a new industrial revolution has started and the AI race is on.
Well, turning to the broader market now, Karen, despite the NVIDIA pullback and uncertainty over the future of Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, stocks are trading near record highs this morning. Amanda Agati of PNC Bank explains why markets have been discounting the Trump-Cook saga.
I think the equity market is really largely ignoring it. One, because it's starting to get conditioned to a lot of this purple haze of policy uncertainty. But two, because I think the bottom line is rate cuts are more likely than not, regardless of what ultimately happens with Cook. And I think that is the most important thing for the equity market's path forward.
PNC Bank's Amanda Agati says expectations for a rate cut could get murkier if inflation surprises to the upside. The Fed's preferred read on inflation, the core PCE index, comes out tomorrow.
Well, Nathan, U.S. companies are planning to buy back shares at a historic pace, and we bring in Bloomberg's John Tucker for the very latest. John, good morning.
And good morning, Karen. It's a sign of corporate America's confidence in the economy. Announced buybacks. They surpassed $1 trillion last week. That's a record. Over the last few months, corporate heavyweights, in particular the financials and technology stocks, have given the green light to large share repurchasing programs. Back in May, you'll recall Apple announced it would buy back $100 billion in stock. Alphabet, JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America have also announced buybacks of at least $40 billion. And the latest just last night with Nvidia announcing a $60 billion buyback. Well, according to Barini Associates, earnings are good. They have enough money for capital expenditures, and this is a nice way to reward investors. In New York, I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
Okay, John, thank you. Let's head to Europe now. French spirits maker Pernod Ricard's been updating on sales in the wake of U.S. tariffs, and Bloomberg's Ewan Potts is in London with the very latest. Ewan.
Nathan and Karen, Pernod Ricard shares one of the biggest gainers in Europe this morning. The company behind Absolut Vodka and Jameson Irish Whiskey has topped earnings expectations and forecast a pickup in demand in the second half of the year. On US tariffs, including the 10% levy on UK exports, Pernod says the total impact on a full-year basis will be €35 million. The company says it will partly mitigate the tariffs by some price increases in selected markets. In London, I'm Ewan Potts, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, Ewan, thanks. Well, Japan's top trade negotiator is visiting the U.S. to press for lower tariffs. On Bloomberg's Amy Morris has more from Washington.
Japan's top trade negotiator Ryoshi Akazawa will push for the tariffs agreed to in July, including lower duties on cars and auto parts. Japan wants those duties cut to 15% and to end the stacking of previous duties on 15% universal tariffs. Look for Akazawa to urge the Trump administration to implement these changes as soon as possible, but the U.S. wants to see a promised $550 billion investment mechanism up and running. Details of how that fund will operate are still not known. In Washington, Amy Morris, Bloomberg Radio.
And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Karen Moscow.
I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.